What's up, Wild Wormhole? I'm back with another Winds of Exchange deck opening slash deck review. This is deck number 2 from my sealed alliance pool at KeyForge Celebration. We've got a Anar Yalsia Citizen, Equidon Brobnar Saurian with the Strange Shell token. Now, if you watched the last video, you'll hear a little bit more of my thoughts around why I chose 2 of the houses from the other deck, and I did go with Equidon, so we'll get into that after I open the whole deck. But I'm gonna open the deck in front of you guys so you can see what it is, just as an Archon deck as well. Admittedly, I've not played this a ton as an Archon deck, simply because I have found the Strange Shell underwhelming, not as good as I was hoping it to be. And there's some anti-synergies in this deck that we'll get into. But don't let me be the judge. You be the judge as well, and we can talk about it. So we've got, first up, we've got Brobnar, Krog the Clumsy, splash attack 2 with 7 power. Cool, right? We've got Ged, Hammer, Ready and Enrage each other friendly Brobnar creature. I actually love this dude, and use this ability quite a bit intentionally. Get Hammer there. Then we've got Shock Herder, not 1, but 2. Deploy, ready and fight with a neighboring creature. You think, oh, that's great with Get Hammer. Krog the Clumsy, you can wipe a board, but even better than that, Pelf. If you watched the last video, you know I've really come to love this little guy, this little goblin. Skirmish after fight, your opponent loses 1 double Shock Herder to ready and fight with this guy in a pinch is just amazing. But even greater than that, Might Club. The Pelf Shock Herder Might Club little synergy here is phenomenal. To ready and enrage a creature, use this guy to fight a few times. Really great. Broken Axe Outpost gives me an amber. Put a friendly creature on the bottom of a owner's deck. If you do, deal 6 to an enemy creature. Found that basically anytime Strange Shell is out there, this is what Strange Shell's purpose is to be an outpost, fodder. Ragnarok Prep. Make a token creature. Then if you control more creatures than your opponent loses 2. Great, except for the fact that there's a lot of outposts in this deck, and I'll get into that later. So this does not fire very often in this deck. Smith, gain 2 if you control more creatures than your opponent. Again, a little bit of anti-synergy in this deck because this deck actually likes to go very thin on creatures and go for the Amber Pips, and it'll make more sense when I hit Equidon. Blood of Titans. This creature gets +5 power. Berserker Slam, always a good card. Deal flurry to flank creature. If that damage controls that creature, its controller loses 1. Unguarded Camp. For each creature you control in excess of your opponent, friendly creature captures 1. Each creature cannot capture more than 1 this way. All right, so that's Brobnar. And not terrible in its own. So when I was sitting there with my sealed pool, I definitely played with using this Brobnar instead of the Brobnar from the last video. And in a lot of ways, like in Magical Christmas Land, some of these combos are really sweet, but I felt like the Brobnar in the other deck was a little bit stronger overall because of the Brick Nasty alone. I mean, it's just a powerful card. So that is Brobnar. Now we're going to get into Equidon, which is the house I took from my sealed pool. And immediately I'm just going to show you the card. The reason I took the Equidon is this. Equiji Outpost Artifact. Put a friendly creature on the bottom of the owner's deck. If you do, draw 3 cards. 3. Not 1, not 2, 3. And we have not 1, not 2, but 3 Equiji Outposts. 3 of this uncommon. I think I was listening to Archon's Corner talking about the reality of a deck getting 2 of these is really strong. Getting 3, ugh. So I was sitting there thinking, I could reliably have Equidon turns when I draw 9 cards. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is what happened in the wins that I got. There were several turns. My efficiency was out of control. 9 cards. Assuming I could get creatures on the board. So let's look at the creatures. Excuse me. We've got Belligerent Guard ×2. Enters play ready. Your opponent draws a card. So it was interesting with these guys, right? You could play this guy. Your opponent does get a card, but enters play ready. So I could kill something, I could reap, and then send it to the bottom with the outpost. and see what happens. Now, there were situations where I got to the bottom of my deck, and it was all these guys on the bottom, so I was drawing 3 cards, and it was all these. And I was like, man, do I really want to give my opponent all these extra cards entering play ready? I don't know. So it was at least interesting. So 2 of those guys, Gemcoat Vendor, Action Steal 1, Deal 1 to Gemcoat Vendor. Solid card. I like him. Mollusk Caller, of course, he comes with Strange Shell. We also spoiled this on the Wild Wormhole YouTube channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. After eat for the remainder of the turn, each friendly Strange Shell gets +3 powers and loses all abilities. Now, if you're sitting at home in your chair, enjoying a nice afternoon, nice morning, drinking some coffee, ask me how many times I've pulled off this after reap and turned the Strange Shells into something bigger. Ask me. I dare you. Thank you for asking me. The answer is 0. Of all the games I've played in this with Mollusk Caller, there's 0 times this effect has done anything, and it makes me really sad. So, bummer. Shrewd Investor, ×2. 4 power elusive play. You may have your opponent gain 1. If you do, capture 4. This is the main Amber control of this Equidon house, which is a little sucky because you're trying to cycle creatures, you're trying to get Amber pips, and meanwhile, these guys need to stick on the board when they're capturing 4. I don't know. I think these are fine. I don't think they're great, but they need other Equidon cards to like really make them work. So again, not terrible, but especially for sealed, but there we are. Forced Retirement. Destroy a creature. If you do, its controller gains 1. Auction off. ×2. Purge an artifact. Its controller gains 1. I had a few awkward hands with triple Equigi Outpost where I didn't want to purge my own outpost, even to get the Amber Pip and the extra 1. So sometimes this is a discard, unfortunately, if the opponent doesn't play artifacts, okay? So that is the Equidon house. Yes. Well, let's just move into Saurian, okay? We've got Saurian. We only have 3 dinos here. But Paraguardian is there. You may exalt Paraguardian if you do ward each of its neighbors, which is great with the Shrewd Investor if you really need to protect that Amber. Praetor Marius, after reap, for each exhausted creature to Praetor Marius's left, capture 1. And then this crazy dude, Imperator Drusilla, 4 power, 3 armor, play, destroy another friendly creature by Strange Shell. While there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, Imperator Drusilla gains splash attack 4. This is not insignificant. With this amount of armor, this is not insignificant. I found this to be very effective in controlling a board, and I really like this guy, even with this negative effect. Now, here's a situation in a game where I had this guy out there with City Gates. It's a rare. Friendly creature captures 1. If that creature is a dinosaur, it captures 2. All right, so Imperator here was on the board. I wiped some board. I captured 2 with City Gates. So I've got 2 Amber on this guy. And then I played Epic Poem, exalt a friendly creature, gain 1 for each Amber on that creature. So I captured 2 with City Gates. I exalted, and then I gained 3, which didn't feel as bad because 2 of those were captured from City Gates. If that dino isn't taken care of and you can do double City Gates and capture 4 and then play Epic Poem, I mean, that is a massive turn. Massive turn. Granted, they could get that Amber back. I get it. But with a 4 power, 3 armor creature, sometimes that's tough to pull off. But I think this is interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of Epic Poem. And when I see City Gates, I might be thinking about this combo a little bit. Another outpost. Ambrosia Outpost. I told you there's like 5 outposts in this deck. Put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, move 1 from a friendly creature to your pool. So with that City Gates combo and Epic Poem, you could combine some of that stuff. Send Strange Shell back, whatever. There's only 3 dinos, so it is a little awkward sometimes. Phalanx Strike, reprint. And then Pale into Insignificance. Destroy each creature with the lowest power. It's really awkward when your token creature is 1 power. It just is. So it is helpful that I have the outpost so I can send those tokens away if I can, but this is just sometimes just anti-synergy that I can't get around, and there's 2 of them in the deck. So sometimes it's like, oh, if I have a card that makes a token, I might not want to do that just to have some big beefy stuff out there, because my Equidon and Brobnar guys are kind of stronger powered. So if they have 2 power guys, 3, that could be very vulnerable. Crushing Charge. More board control, destroy each creature with power 4 or lower, gain 1 chain. And then double recruit. Make a token creature if you've exalted a friendly creature this turn, archive recruit. Which with Epic Poem is fairly possible. So there you go. So again, I chose not to play the Brobnar in this house, and I chose not to play the Saurian. And I played the Equidon, and I still think, goodness, this triple outpost is just insane. Like, I mean, triple Equigi outpost. I'm starting to think this might be, for Alliance format, this might be something to toy with. Just for the efficiency's sake, with a deck that has more Amber control in other houses, this might be really sweet. But it just did not work the way I wanted. Sometimes the efficiency was great, but I didn't have enough Amber pips to pull it off. Like if this had a Cursed Relic in it and had 1 million extra Amber pips, this could be pretty sick. But it just did not have enough Amber control with the double Shrewd Investor. It was like it was a nice stall, but there's no like real stealing except for this gem code vendor. So I have since played this deck, just as an Archon deck, and it is way more interesting. The Saurian again is better than I thought. It has some weird plays and obviously has a lot of board control that can really kind of go off. I still think the deck is a little underwhelming. The Brobnar is fine. It just with the Pelf, Double Shock Herder, Might Club, it's okay. There's some stuff to happen, but I don't know. I just really wish the deck that I opened with 3 Equigi Outposts would have been a little bit stronger overall. But feel free to disagree with me. Tell me in the comments what I'm missing with this particular deck. Again, I went 2-2 in the Alliance Sealed at KeyForge Celebration. Granted, I hadn't seen half these cards anyways, but it just didn't work with the Unfathomable and the Brobnar from the other deck the way I wanted it to. So that's the deck. Strange Shell. Let me show you guys the Archon cards. So if you wanted to look at the whole thing and see what it's like, there it is. Anar, Yalcia, Citizen. We'll see how much Alliance becomes a thing. If Gen Con National Championships, Alliance is a major format, I could consider the Equidon from this with the right other houses that has more Amber control, because it just is not enough. But I mean, having two cards that purge an artifact and 3 cards that draw 3 cards, I mean, there's something here. There's something here. I've not cracked the code, but maybe with time it'll happen. So that's it, guys. That is deck 2 from my Sealed Alliance. Well, be sure to check out the other video if you have not. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope all of your wormholes are truly chaotic, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.